Hey everybody, Matt McCarthy here for Rugby Wrap-Up, and I am at the Pig and Whistle, your rugby sports viewing venue, and I have the pleasure of being here with Mr. Steve Lewis, the Director of Rugby for PRO Rugby, the professional entity here in the United States, kicking off on April 17th. Steve, welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
Will there be 6 staffed teams playing rugby on April 17th for PRO Rugby?
That is very much our intention, and we are fairly close to being comfortable with that now.
What do you have in place so far, other than Torero Stadium in San Diego, which you just confirmed?
We're confirmed in Sacramento at Bonnie Field. We're confirmed in San Francisco at Boxer Stadium. We are down to the last dotting of I's and crossing of T's contractually with 2 other venues, which are fairly well known in the American rugby community, but again, I can't confirm until that's finalized.
How many coaches do you have in place?
We have Paul Keeler in San Francisco. He's been there in some time. He's also sort of Director of Operations on the West Coast. As regards other coaches, we have, and have had for some time now, a very robust shortlist. I've probably interviewed at least 20 plus domestic coaches, probably 10 foreign coaches. There were a couple of pieces of the puzzle that had to fall into place before we can start naming them. So for instance, John Mitchell being one. Also venues. Some coaches are available for certain markets, but they're not available for all. So it's a little bit three-dimensional chess in terms of who goes where. But I have an agreement in principle with about 9 coaches in both head and assistant coach roles.
Doug Schoninger was on with us, and he answered many of these questions about the practicalities of the league and everything else. Let's talk about Director of Rugby stuff now, because you've got a combine under your belt. How many players do you have, would you say?
We send out an initial player availability inquiry form. So that was to about 220 American players who we have previously identified, both from national team squads, age grade squads, PRP players, ARP players, my knowledge, Paul Keeler's knowledge, and obviously the network of senior coaches that we know and have tapped. So that list went out, and the purpose of that was, as we've said before, that this league isn't for everyone. In terms of the pay scale and the timing, there'll be good players with good jobs. It's maybe not for them. Certain people may not want to move to different parts of the country. So what that initially is about is filtering that list of domestic players. So we've had a very good response to that, and I anticipate tidying up that list and having a really good understanding of exactly which American players are available. So domestic players, pretty good. The depth chart is both positional and geographic. Obviously we want to keep players where they're happiest, where they're from, where their club affiliation is, where their collegiate affiliation is. So we don't want to move people if we don't have to. Do any of you guys have a relationship with John Mitchell, and what will be the relationship with the national team? We have no direct link with USA Rugby, but we want to work hand in hand, particularly from my perspective on the sort of operational side in terms of coaching staff and playing staff. So I've talked with Alex Magleby, High Performance Director, fairly regularly. John Mitchell, I don't know him. Obviously I know of him. He's a big name, he's an established name, he's got experience in multiple competitions throughout the world. He has indicated he's willing to work with us, and we're very willing to work with him, so let's just see how that relationship develops. Obviously it's a key one. I know you have more information that you can't give me right now, but we're going to come back here next week and do this again when you have more information. Sure, I'd be happy to. All right, thank you very much, and best of luck. We're rooting for you. Thanks, Matt. Cheers. On behalf of Mr. Steve Lewis, I'm Matt McCarthy from the Pig and Whistle for Rugby Wrap-Up in New York City.
And Seniola.
Shalom, Seniola.
And you're watching Rugby Wrap-Up.